What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? Day traders, cloud swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good. Hope you guys are ready to go. We got Amy in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Andy, Bill, Cindy, Daniel in the house. Good morning to Frank, Jeff, John, JT, Kevin, Lauren, Lucian. Good morning to Martina, Michael, Tim, Virginia, Wendy. You guys are piling in. BEA, beautiful. All my people out in YouTube land, looks like we got me in the house. Good morning to you. Good morning to Harley. All my lurkers in the background. I'm just not going to say nothing all day. It's okay. I still love you. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. But yeah, a little wild after hours all around yesterday. So I did make a bold prediction. I'm going to stand by it. All-time highs by this week. I'm gonna stand by it. Although, admittedly so, this gap down doesn't help. This doesn't help at all. Yeah. So unfortunately, we got some more escalation between Israel, Iran. We have Trump leaves the G7 early, tells the advisors to start to meet in the Situation Room, and they got some things to sort out. He was kind of posting that people should be evacuating Tehran, and not good, not a good situation. So hopefully everything calms down. Hopefully everything doesn't escalate too much further. But we'll see where the things kind of go from here. It's anybody's game at this point. But otherwise, this is a gap and go. So things to worry about on the SPY. Uh, Great gap and go on Monday. Fantastic. Looked really, really good for a second. We got even above 603.74. Fantastic. Could not get the close. Closed right back into that resistance. Now we did retest all of the prior kind of highs. You're getting a gap down. Not a great sentiment to start. Look for a little bit of support on the SPY, somewhere around 599.38. Then you have your next resistance up, $600.02. So we're kind of in a little bit of a chop zone for today at open. If we start to break either direction, that would be your sign to go bullish or bearish, either direction of that break. So if we start getting underneath 599.38 ish, something like that, 28, you have a lot more room to the downside. Probably coming back to this 597.06 at minimum. To the higher side, you got a little bit more room back to like 601.82. So a little bit more risk to reward to the downside. But for right now, we're just smack in the middle of all that. Qs, Bijal, what's going on? We got Qs, same thing. Got up, retested the this one retested the not all-time high, but all the recent high of the last pivot. And now they're going to give us a gap and go. Fade trade is the way to still be playing 2025, it seems like. We still have Jerome Powell coming out tomorrow. I don't know what he's going to say, how he's going to say it, or how the market's going to interpret it, but he's still got that to be saved, and maybe some more headlines come across. And for the bull case, you want to see some de-escalation, not escalation, in some of the warpaths of the Middle East at this point. Otherwise, you got 531.57. That is your resistance. We are 1 penny above it at this point. So we'll see if that holds. Otherwise, to the downside, your next target, not as dramatic on the Qs. You got 530.10. You got 529.37. You got 528.26. So not as much range on the Qs, I think, to the downside. But same thing on the higher side as well. You got 532.68 and probably running into like 533. I don't know about worst case scenario. I don't want to ever put worst case scenario on anything, but I think to the downside, if things get a little bit uglier, you start breaking through some of those resistance. I think you have potential of 527.53 for today in the Qs, but a lot of resistance to maybe support us and bid us up a little bit. Check out good old trusty Bitcoin. Not so trusty today. So again, another looked real strong at one point yesterday. Headlines not helping. Even the crypto space and a pullback. You're just sitting at some kind of support for now. Slightly under it though. Yeah, I don't love where we're sitting. Bulls better step in very, very soon on Bitcoin. You really want to start to recapture 105,676. This right now also looks bearish engulfing candle. A little bit further down would take you to a target of 105,005. We'll have to see if that holds there. GLD, I thought this would have got a little bit of a higher pop. It is a gap and go for today. So we'll see. It is opening in a fairly bullish location though for GLD. It's got some room on this one up to probably about 314.94. It's going to act a little bit differently than sometimes a lot of the stocks do, and it will be very heavily reliant on any headlines that come out of Israel, Iran, and even probably anything that Trump tweets or truths or whatever it's called. Other news: solar. Which I got, well, not yet. I didn't get slaughtered yet. I have to wait probably about 22 minutes because I got some options. But I got some options on, I got out of First Solar. I got some SEDG yesterday because the chart looks so good. First Solar looks so good. And, yeah, Senate comes out. They're looking to phase out spending in the solar sector by, I think it was, what, 2027, something like that. These companies aren't strong without the funding. I mean, they're not strong with the funding, but there's a path where okay, they could. There's viability. You got First Solar down a lot today, and it just keeps on crumbling. What I don't like on this one is you're past all of this five. We held there kind of last night. 2028 is when they're phasing it out by. All right. We'll see if they survive till 2028. I don't know. That's rough. That's a rough move because that changes the entire business model completely. A lot of their funds were, and a lot of why people would even switch because you get the government subsidies, and that's coming off the table. It looks like, or at least the attempt to take it off the tables. If we get any news that reverses it, these stocks will shoot up absolutely crazy. At least probably back to where they were prior to the news coming out and would negate everything. But it does not seem like that is the case. You have a little bit of support. This is a massive, massive gap down. Again, I do have some options on SEDG, which is also getting just kicked in the face this morning. Bad time. I just picked them up. Oh, I was so my entry was good on that one yesterday. I was like, all right, we stayed. We got back above the 200. It was looking good till till about an hour after the market closed, something like that. But these ones down, probably going to be down quite a bit today. At least SEDG is still kind of holding, and I still don't love it, but it's a whole different game now than yesterday. I'm trying to figure out. I got some time on those contracts. We'll see what happens. But it is down a lot. You're also breaking some key levels. First Solar looks a little bit weaker than SEDG. They both look rough. But at least you have some support coming in on SEDG, somewhere around $15.17. First Solar, if you're trying to play that one, again, it's probably going to be a little bit tougher of a short, but I think you got some room down to like 129.39 on this one. So see if we come back into those ranges, see if we want to hold. I think the low end of that is 128.12. You still have some room for a day trade to the downside on this one. I think you can make some more money to the downside. We are at a little bit of support, but trapping a lot of bulls, including myself. It happens. It's trading. The charts look so good. You're like, oh, this is gonna take a break, and then you get some headlines and just collapse your positions, and it is what it is. It happens. Yeah, AMD super strong yesterday. This one, I crushed it on options on AMD, and I did sell out. So I have shares still, so I'm still in it. Will this continue? We were looking at this for a while, and we're like, you know what? If this thing gets past, I think like 124, 125-ish, we start getting into the zone. There's nothing really holding us back. I do think this continues. I have somewhere really up to, and it might, I mean, it might not be a straight line up. We might get some pullbacks eventually, but I have really nothing stopping us till 138. So that still gives us about another $10 to the higher side from here. And then if we can start breaking through that, we have a lot of volume that's never been retested up to 165. That's too far out for me to call for that one for net right now. We have to see what happens first, but otherwise, I got somewhere around the 139 zone. Is the next kind of bigger target on this one? I'll be buying dips and I'll be getting back in with some of the options. The shares are going to just continue to hold. Look for a little bit of resistance on a small time frame. This is obviously a powerful move. Lots and lots of volume came in yesterday. Great gap and go. Was a little concerned with that 200 being right there. We did say it cut through it a couple times. There's a couple other resistance. AMD yesterday just did not care about resistance. I think they did have a little bit of an upgrade that came in yesterday as well. I was saying this yesterday. Lisa Su was kind of giving some presentations. I think they had AMD Day. They have a new chip that's supposed to compete with NVIDIA. They had a lot of good news. We've seen that before on AMD, where Lisa Su comes out and then is as she's speaking, and afterwards it just tanks. AMD just pulls back, and it looked like it was about to try to do one of those until yesterday came in. But everything she was saying, I was like, this seems all really good for AMD. I don't really understand the selling. That's why I kind of held on to some of those calls. But yeah, looking at for today. First stop, 129.69. I think he could maybe for today get up to like 130.48. So we're getting a little tighter on the range in terms of smaller time frames as to where this thing could go. If we start closing or getting candles above 130.68, though, I don't know what else really stops. Unless you got your next spot somewhere around 132.87 and then up to 135.71. So it could still be another strong day. Usually, though, big days, and this is a gap up, it is a retest gap. I think if you're trying to get in, you have to be a little patient on the entry here. See if this one wants to pull back to 126.88. That was yesterday's volume spot. Maybe that looks to hold today. It should, I would assume. I think buying the dip on AMD makes sense. We just got to get that dip first. We'll get this one a little bit higher on the charts. Yeah, First Solar. We kind of looked at that one, but I don't know if we gave levels. I think it. Let's see where this thing opens. It is down massively, but if this thing could hold 134.27, you have a shot. Maybe I don't know how far this thing is going to bounce back, but maybe you got 140.78, something like that. Again, business model completely has changed, so technicals don't really matter. It's a whole new business. If the funding comes out, they've already obviously struggled up into this. They have earnings coming out, which won't really matter the earnings. It's going to be now at this point what they say. If they have any positivity of how they survive without government funding, and they're like, yeah, we're not too concerned. That's fine with us. Then after earnings, this thing will bounce back strong. If not, if they're showing any kind of concern about that, this is gonna be much more downside, I think, to First Solar if that does persist. But for today, watch 134.22. You are starting to get into a fairly heavy support zone. The biggest spot I got is 129.61, somewhere around there. And uh, maybe get some shorts. A lot of shorts. That is the one thing on First Solar. It was specific to First Solar. You had a lot of short-term puts being opened yesterday. I'm not saying the market's rigged, but I mean, people guess correctly. Apparently, the opposite of me. But a lot of puts were coming in with short-term. I think it was like June 17th or something. Where yeah, it was very, very short term, whatever, June 25th, something like that. Puts were being placed. If you start to clear those puts off, that might give. So because it was so short term, you had the move that a lot of people were probably looking for. I'm not saying again, they were government officials. I don't want to say names. I don't want to mention like a Nancy Pelosi or something. I don't want to be that guy. I'm not going to say it. But there was somebody that knew something. I would suspect with the amount of puts that were being bought, and that might be your reason you get some bids from here. So watch those supports, see if they hold. You might have some profit taking because there was a lot of people. Again, not saying I'm not in that game of just saying anybody in a political space would ever know that something like that would happen the night before. It would be wild. I'm not gonna say it. We got Reddit is good gap up on this one. I think they have an AI new feature or something like that. Wall Street specs. Just yeah. So Reddit just unlocks secret weapon for ads. Okay. Yeah. So they have AI ads. Um, the downside to this one, you might see like TTD get a little put under a little bit of pressure on this one. Obviously, if we've learned from NVIDIA, if we are if we were going to throw AI in any headline, people are going to like it. You're into a little bit of resistance for here, so see if you can break through 134.45. If you can get through that, then this thing might just absolutely continue from here, which you have more upside. Not really much more, at least short term, stopping you to about 153.72. So let's see if this one can pick up some fire. Otherwise, if you're kind of underneath that, or you get some kind of pullback is a retest gap, could get down to 126.77 if this one wants to fail. So watch where this one opens. Could have some interesting room in it. It's obviously well off the highs still. So it has some room to the higher side and just kind of give me some intraday candles as to whether I want to take a break. But plenty of room still to the higher side, but it is technically a retest gap. So just be cautious of that if you are going to play it. Roku looked good yesterday. Started to get some interesting buyers stepping in. We have some kind of resistance right around 84.90 where we pre-market. We have 84.25. So again, retest gap, pretty good gap and go from yesterday. We were up in the space before. Let's see if this one pulls back. I think this would be worth taking a look at if you get a pullback to like 82.52. So let's see if we get a little pullback first, retest gap, but this gap up is telling me bulls do still want pricing or think pricing can go higher on Roku, but let's see if we get some profit taking for today. To step in, John says it's got to dip so it can be bought. Yeah, everything's got to be dip. Everything's got to get that little sell off eventually. Otherwise, we just chase everything and then we call it crypto. T-Mobile gapping down. Not sure why. Oh, SoftBank sold 21.5 million T-Mobile shares for, okay, raising, so it's a capital raise. Yeah, not many stocks can go through this. Hims, I think, is the only one that can go through selling more shares at highs and not have gap downs. But yeah, pretty severe gap down. Big support. Watch for 2180, 221.80. Even that, you're starting to run into a little bit of consolidation. You have one day of buying that came in off a good looking hammer. You're probably trapping some bulls. Doesn't really move too much historically. I guess you get some decent sized candles, but that is a lot of selling. I mean, one day of trapping, lots of days of selling. You're opening into resistance. I think if I'm going to take this play, I don't want to take this one bearish. I'd rather take it bullish. I'd rather try to play a fade on this one. Let people close out for some gains on the short direction, and then they'll be like me, hey, I'm bullish. Bye. Put that one up there. I don't know how that one's going to day trade, but it's worth a shot. It's a decent dollar price at least. We got Tesla, Tesla. Frustrating everybody who decided to either buy or short yesterday. It just did nothing. Nothing at all happened on this one. It's almost like it took a 3-day weekend. And right now, looks like we're still in the same chop fest, although now you have a little bit of a retest gap from yesterday. You're going to have a resistance, immediate resistance right above you, 327.30. That's your first sign if you want to go long. Maybe get above that first to go short. See if this one wants to drop a little bit further, 325.84. You do have decent amount of room in both directions. However, to the higher side on Tesla, it's right now still back to this 330.53. If we get hang in this range, we start getting above those moving averages again, or those VPOCs, we might have enough to get through that. I do have targets on this one up to like 338-ish, 339 for the next move if we could get it. Otherwise, we're just kind of hanging out. We just did nothing yesterday. Robotaxi Day is coming up, I think next week. So maybe we get some excitement to build again if we get some more headlines crossing about Robotaxi Day, and then people just start buying before the event. Or worst case, it just holds and does nothing until the event, which would just leave us in Chop Fest 2025 for Tesla. But to the downside, if we start to break underneath that last support, you have 322.30, 322.66, we'll call it. The next level from there, which I think is a much better level, that takes us to about 317.80, all the way down to like 316.94. So I think you have a lot of room to the downside. You're still into that little support. You still have this bullish engulfing candle. You're still just kind of retesting a whole day of doing nothing, and then now you do have a retest to the higher side. So probably nothing at open, but if it just opens, drops, then probably look to short that one on a pullback. I'm still in my calls, yeah. Still got the calls. Which they're going to be down this morning for sure. AMD selling off out of nowhere. I don't know what's going on. Looking at the other screen. So Tesla's going to be down a little bit. However, I also own SEDG calls too. So for me, Tesla feels like a win right now. So it's all perspective in terms of in terms of what I'm holding for today. We'll see. Pure Cycle. I don't know anything about this one. Uh, but Pure Cycle. What is Pure Cycle Technologies? Industrial service, environmental services. This is the company. They employ people to ride bicycles around the city and pick up garbage. I think that's what they do. I don't know. I'm not sure. That would make sense though. Yeah, this is really nice gap up. Not sure. Pure Cycle Technology raises 300 million partners with. Okay. Build new recycling. I was close actually. I took a wild stab at it and I was not too far off. So building new recycling facilities in Thailand. I was off with the country though. I was thinking US. For some reason I thought New York City was, I don't know, that's what I was picturing. Lots of buying into this one prior to this. You are opening to a little bit of resistance. I think that's probably a fade. I don't know the amount of volume that's going to come into this thing today. I've never traded it, but it's a little too high for me to be buying at this level. Probably would look for a short if I had to. So we'll see. Nike to the downside, NKE. I was so close. Maybe I was off with the bicycle thing. Just a cycle. I don't know. Still very choppy. Yeah, so I think we could easily draw some kind of box around this Nike for probably the last 3, 4 weeks, something into this zone. And we're still in it. This does look like a breakdown candle. You had a gap up, didn't really break. I think if you had to choose, yeah, probably to the downside, but a lot of support still kind of coming into this thing. So I would expect chop until you probably break through this candle, and better yet, this VPOC. So whatever price that is, looks like $60. Anything under 60, you have a lot more room. Otherwise, I think I wouldn't probably go long on it, but I don't know if I'd go short. I don't know if we have enough room in that one as well. Aklo. Aklo is yes. Looks good. I think the Iranian nuclear power plant got decimated. It was either Iran's or Israel's, one of them. I can't keep track. But that's a really good gap on Aklo. I got to put that higher. I'm not sure where our target's going to go. Obviously, momentum could step into this one. You're going to have psychological level at the high of yesterday, where it tried to break out 73.83, but this is a still inside day candle. It is a gap and go, but as long as we stay above 68.47, I'd be pumping the gas on the long direction of that one. XYZ. A little bit of a gap down, nothing too crazy. Still inside day, powerful gap and go from yesterday. I mean, you have a decent amount of bulls trapped on this one. I'm not loving the opening price. We'll see where this one opens. It's okay, I guess. Anything above 64.08, I wouldn't go short. Anything below it, probably a little bit more to the short side. With that kind of gap, with that kind of candle that came in yesterday, you're looking at 63.70, and then maybe 63.34 could hold you up. Anything past that, you have a lot more room to run down to like 62.07. You're just battling big volume zone 64.96, so that would be kind of my target for the higher side. But even with that, you have to now break through 64.80, which is yesterday's VPOC. So kind of just in the middle of things. I don't know if you have too much edge, but right there should be a little bit of support and maybe high wave candle, and you could probably try to take that to the downside. Microsoft is a gap and go. Yeah, there's a new AI spec that apparently is supposed to eat the lunch of Microsoft. I'd feel confident that is going to be the case, I guess. It's just Microsoft, the biggest tech company in the world almost. Um, but yeah, gap and go. Watch for a little bit of support approaching. That is going to be 474.28. Everything else, probably want to see this thing maybe hold this level at open, bounce around to like 475.84. The closer you get to that, the better risk to reward you have. And then by the time you hit 474.28, you're already profitable and you're just looking for some kind of breakdown on this one. 469.96, something to that effect. But and even that's going to be a stretch. Maybe looking at 472.72. So a little concerned about targets, but it is definitely gap and go to the bear side with an immediate support that you're kind of opening in. See if you get that bounce first, and then kind of go from there. You got Meta. Yeah, they might actually. I don't know. They might be a little weaker, I would think, off of the Reddit advertising AI. It is they Meta hasn't used the word AI in a while. But even for this, it's a gap to go to the bear side, still inside day. Anything under, which I think we're looking to open, anything under 701.24, we're about 6 pennies higher than that for right now. You have some room to the downside. I think your target, if you're trying to go short, you're thinking this thing can get to 692.63. Decent amount of support into that zone already as well. So I don't know if it's going to be the easiest short, but if you're thinking we get through that, which is possible, you have good risk reward, probably some kind of stop on above the high of the day. So something above 707.60. But depends on where this one opens. Higher than yesterday's VPOC. Don't go short. Starts breaking down. That's your spot to try to go in short on that one. You got MU. It's a lot of bullish days in a row. Gapping down slightly pre-market. Nothing too crazy. Pretty much sitting right into the support resistance. To the higher side, you will have a little bit of resistance up to like 121.35. We almost made it into that zone yesterday. So maybe this is a little far extended, and really if you start getting through probably about 119.39-ish, that puts more volume above you, easier to kind of come down. Probably targets on this one 115.96, but you're going to be fighting some bulls on that one. BJL says Hood 150% up. Expiration is on the 20th. What should you do? What's today is the question. Today is so you got 4 days. 4 days. You're probably in the money for a bit. I would either shave some or take my gains on this one. Even if it goes up higher, who cares? You're already in 150%. You could always roll contracts, but better to probably wait, see if some dips come in, and then kind of re-roll it. That's how I would play it. But you guys are incredible in YouTube land. That is the morning.